Hello, I'm Florence Jonduo with this week's episode of Olsem Wanem. Like many other non-government organizations in Papua New Guinea, the Adventist Development and Relief Agency, or ADRA PNG, is working in close partnership with provincial governments, other NGOs, and church organizations to bring much-needed vital projects and services to rural communities for the betterment of the people's livelihood. In one of our previous episodes, we featured the Bubuleta and Sibalai Rural Water and Sanitation Project, funded by the European Union in Milne Bay Province. In this episode, we will see how ADRA PNG is also helping our country implement water projects for our rural communities. The Adventist Development and Relief Agency, or ADRA, is a global humanitarian organization with a mission to work with people in developing countries, people living in poverty and distress, to create just and positive change. ADRA PNG belongs to the ADRA Worldwide Network, which comprises of 120 countries. One very active sector that ADRA PNG has been involved in is the water and sanitation sector.
Yes, ADRA PNG is, I would say the water and sanitation project of ADRA PNG is one of the biggest sector we have in Papua New Guinea. Actually, it's the face of the organization. ADRA is really known on water and sanitation. And WASH has started since 1990s. We have presence in Bougainville in the past, but lately the biggest presence we have is really in Morobe Province, Bololo area, under the funding by Honorable Sam Basil, and we also have funding funded by European Union. So we have a significant presence in Morobe Province. However, we started also to commence our venture, our projects here in Eastern Highlands. And soon there is also a commitment from the local government of Milne Bay area for us to do sanitation.
ADRA PNG has a history of implementing a lot of water and sanitation projects within the country, and is reputable for WASH projects. There are a lot of projects that ADRA PNG has implemented, both in Morobe Province, in the Eastern Highlands Province, in Central, in East New Britain, and even Milne Bay as well. Some of the projects that it had previously implemented within the European Union project is a total of more than 100 communities that ADRA PNG has implemented projects in Kabum District, Tewasiasi, Waubulolo, Finchafen, Wampa or Salamawa District, and Nawab as well. Even in Eastern Highlands, it has also implemented projects in Okapa, Lufa, Kemase, and Gahuku.
According to a research carried out by the World Bank, Papua New Guinea's water supply and sanitation needs are large. The benefits of increased access to sustainable, clean drinking water for rural communities in Papua New Guinea are significant. However, in Papua New Guinea, water and sanitation are given a low priority in the country.
Water and sanitation is one of the biggest challenges here in Papua New Guinea. And because of the terrain, it's really very difficult even to do a borehole drilling. So the system that they usually work out is gravity fed, unless, of course, if there is really no source of water. So sometimes we do rainwater harvesting tanks, but in rural areas, water is really a big challenge. It is a very big challenge, and the communities can confirm to that. So it is very important. The women, they spend significant amount of their time walking up and down the mountains just to secure water, and even the children too. And it is very important for organizations like ADRA to be able to support these people and to make their lives a little bit easier.
There's a number of issues, but clearly the provision of healthy water to a community makes a huge difference. to the health of the members of that community. And along with that, with many of these folk, they would spend many hours each day going to source, number one, to try and source healthy water, and then to bring it back. Now with the provision of the water in their communities, it gives them time to invest in many other things in developing their communities.
Rural water supply is, well, as I look at the statistics for Papua New Guinea, I think it's something like a very small percentage actually live in urban areas. Most people live in the rural areas, and here we have a lot of communities without fresh water. So I think it's an extremely important project. I think the priorities for different donors and for ADRA to work with the rural communities is a number one priority. I think it's so important for the rural communities of Papua New Guinea to enjoy fresh, clean water.
Making accessibility to clean drinking water for rural communities takes the heavy load off, especially mothers and children.
Water projects are important development projects that, when properly funded, can be able to improve a lot of lives in Papua New Guinea. It is said that many communities still don't have access to safe and equitable drinking water. And if the government can commit itself to fund water projects, especially in rural communities, what a world of difference those projects would make in improving the livelihood of people. And it is therefore the interest of an organization such as ADRA PNG to work closely with the government of Papua New Guinea to provide safe drinking water to many communities in Papua New Guinea. And it is therefore our plea that the government should come out and provide dedicated funding for water projects so that a lot of people in rural areas can be able to benefit from water supply.
Welcome back, and you're watching Olsem Wanem. Papua New Guinea has a very rugged terrain, and bringing services to the remote communities is very challenging. The Ungai-Bena district in Eastern Highlands province is one such area. It is made up of rugged mountain terrain and wide valleys. However, despite the mountainous terrain, this didn't stop ADRA PNG from bringing clean supply of water to 10 communities in the Korofegu area with help from the Eastern Highlands Provincial Government and the Ungai-Bena District Office.
Water I'm saving nearly 8,000 man-made population. They want to impact project here. This is a community for a long time only no also water and safe man by drink. So time ADRA come na proposing lo office lo governor also more like putting water also. Impla talking more yes go na working survey, working more scoping work na all something na working costings. Na come na you will logan because in one area where dry land ya. Planning man is I need water logan so. Impla one time is la knowledge is logan time all ADRA come na offer him service all. People hurry up through na request na costings lo fancy lo come up in project and when me along budget na people factoring lo provincial budget na me funding.
Korofegu Water Supply Project has been the biggest water supply scheme that ADRA Papua New Guinea has implemented here in PNG. The design that has 129 taps, 7 ferro cement tanks, which has 44,000 liters, 40,000 liters, 15,000 liters, 10,000 liters, and 12,000 liters.
Korofegu, just like any other communities in Papua New Guinea, faces very similar struggles and hardships that other communities face. However, the situation in Korofegu is rather precarious, largely because of the fact that there's hardly any source of water There's no flowing river nearby, and people have to walk longer distance to find water, and that has been a struggle for these communities for generations, and this issue is generational. Through this project, ADRA PNG identified Korofegu as an important community whereby ADRA PNG would establish a sustainable water system that would be able to help address some of their water needs. And so ADRA PNG, in partnership with the Eastern Highlands Provincial Government, the Ungabena District Administration, and the communities of Korofegu, established an MOA in 2013 to address this issue that affects all communities within the Korofegu area.
The work they've done has been very impressive. It's been fantastic. You know, I think the best results you can look at is when we talk to people and ask them, how has this made a difference in your life? When I heard one man say today, he's been in this district since he's been up until 40 years of age, and he's now 40 and he's never had fresh water as such. He's had to go and collect water that hasn't been fresh. He's had to spend time doing that, and now to have water at his front door, he said it is just life-changing. And I've heard story after story like that, so I think that's the impact that we like to see, where people's lives are changed. And as my colleague had said before, you know, the difference we will see in people's health over time. This has only been completed a short time. Over long term, we will start to see the real health benefits for people as they drink clean water.
Desla project ADRA bin kisimikam lo community blue yumin said lo Korofegu. I'm a big pla need blum plan. I'm bringing big pla halavim kalum pla. Me at now me 42 years old now. Me stop logan me toke one pla water pipe project and one pla former member blum pla provincial member blum pla bin karim kam. You know been last time 2 to 3 years. I'm been brook. I'm been PVC pipe and I'm been brook na now. This la project you know stop na. This la time me come nap lili pikinini come nap now. Me 42 years logan this la project I'm come up here. I'm rousing big pla heavy. Now tumbuna blomi na all papa na mama blomi. Planted all in the opinion no been looking this la kind project. Na time this la project come up logenia. I'm rousing big pla heavy blow you mean and now you me say was you mean say was. You me say go hulwara na kisim hulwara lo close to. You go hulwara blum pla I'll fanging about growing side but you me say move him go come. Green tasol wara blue you me lo drainia. You me say drain all same stop. Na me toke me 42 years old now me been drain this la kind wara. Inap kam nap now this la wara come clean pla wara become lo this la hap when pla kisim lo gani clean pla wara straight.
Some of the challenges encountered during the implementation of the project. One, we have the geographical challenges, which is the difficult geography and topography of the community. This project is seen as a big project in terms of distance, and 7 kilometers from the source to the first hamlet. It also has 10 communities within Korofegu community, which are all scattered apart. The success of every project or development work really depends on the participation level of partner stakeholders and most importantly, the beneficiaries. And thirdly, insufficient water source. The quantity of water at the source was not enough to supply 10 communities with a total distance of 24.8 kilometers. And to resolve this, 3 small streams were used to divert water to the catchment to increase the volume of water supply.
ADRA completed this massive 26.5 kilometers of gravity-fed water system late last year. This water project is benefiting 10 communities within the Ungaibena district in Eastern Highlands province. This massive gravity-fed water supply in Korofegu in the Eastern Highlands province has brought smiles to the faces of the people. However, projects will remain in good condition if members of the communities take ownership of these projects to maintain it with funding help from the provincial and district government offices. Community members taking ownership of projects ensures project implementers and stakeholders that they will look after the project. The Korofegu Water Project is one project that implementers want to see go a long way.
I'm incredibly impressed to see a gravity feed system of this scale, and the distances which have been covered from the water source to the various reservoir tanks is very impressive. And we're very impressed at the thought of not only this working, but the fact that this can be rolled out to other communities, and we can possibly get to other communities with a project similar to this one.
I found it most interesting. In fact, I visited many water projects, and as Jasmine, the country director for ADRA Papua New Guinea, sent me the report on this project. And as I looked through it, I saw the design and I thought, well, this is an interesting design. Instead of working with one community, we're working with 9 or 10 communities. And I thought, well, how's this going to work? There was something like 26 kilometres of pipeline, and I thought, I must see this project. And so when I had the opportunity to come up here, I was very excited to come and see it. I am even more excited to see that it's working very well, and that it's been a great pilot project for future projects of this size, so where we can help many communities with one project in lieu of just one community at a time.
The recent World Bank studies on water and sanitation, ADRA was part of that in the research, and the failure is really, it boils back to ownership. Even if organizations like ADRA provide water and sanitation, if the community doesn't take ownership, the project will fail. But if the community takes full ownership, the project will be successful. And it provides sustainability to this project. Yeah.
Firstly, I would say that a factor that manifests as a threat is the lack of drive and motivation to ensuring sustainability. The lifespan of the project depends on the community, and therefore we urge the community to take ownership and full responsibility in taking care of the water supply system. Generally, I would say that some factors that contribute to failure of projects in rural communities are lack of good leadership. A good leader has the power of influence in mobilizing the community to support any project or any development work. And secondly is lack of community participation. A community displays high level of participation when there is ownership on the project. If there is no ownership, then the issue of lack of community participation becomes a problem.
Community bin bumpinis na mi bla tok association bungin bla community time des la project like start off. Me bla tok lo lukautim des la one meya. Lo lukautim wara pipe lo impla des la kan yumi all keta tok pasim tok. How lo bam bla lukautim yumi et tok Olsem Wanem ha pipe brook. Yumi et by baim yumi mas fitim. Wanem ha wanem tep em bagrap em yusta lo wanem ha em bagrap. You must pam tep lo na putim. But pipe em yumi mas all keta one time you must walk boom one time lo lukautim pipe lo yumi.
Sustainability lo warap lo place now and mi bla saos wara companies now na mi bla drink finish wara lo site lo lookout in wara lo behind time we go start lo handle mi bla community so money by some coffee leaf we mi bla lo picking coffee no salim next money sai kam lo hat la rot wara tu kam lo hat la rot finish start lo doorstep so lookout in wara na lo laring wara ma start lo behind time start lo handle mi bla community we time mi play asking lo lookout in na maintaining wara mi bla mas harim tok na behind no can looking mo se mi bla drain wara finish na mi bla lo stingy lookout in wara mi bla mas lookout in pipe lookout in tank One can cross come up name lo impla community. Mipla no can go na put him hand lo wara because wara I'm not touching mipla. I'm not cross one mipla. Wara I'm innocent. So you cross blue you must straight him blue you yet. Na no can lay man blue on top of this blue wara but look out him. Mipla put him legally called fee kind of say 1 kina fee longer a month lo lusin. You must lose him yet because this blue by cater lo legally called expenses when come up time wara need maintenance. So lo side lo kote wara em staff lahan pamit lo community now. And no can think ben by staff osem yet lo place na pam help him work no kan. Mi missionary so suppose mission singaw timi lo go work lo narap lap area. Em ba mi lusin place na go so. Mi blon man lo place mi blade staff ba side go pass lo kote place. So mi blon must line now lo look out in wara lo now na behind time to. Thank you.
To end our program for this week, we now hear what some community members of Bush Butter Village in the Ungai Bena district say about the water hardships that they've faced before the water project was implemented by ADRA PNG in their area. We also hear what people have to say about this massive water project in the Eastern Highlands province.
Before mi plan watuara, mi place to use hulwara. Time lo rain, mi place to come up man mary. Na mi place to start place na use wara. Time lo sun, wara em sabe dry. Hulwara ya em sabe dry. Na mi place to be lo big flowera. Kind of sembe na bridge na korefego lo upside. Na mi pla kisimol pikinini plon pla loading clothes plon pla wara container plon pla tu mi place to be lo just lahap. Cook kaike washing clothes dry now. Time clothes plum pla em dry. Mi place I folding plumapim lo bilum. Pikinini one time plumapim warab lo avinun lo cook na kaike o dream na sleep. E mi place I carry mi kam long way up. Na lo mi plakat baret atasol. Wara em time lo rain. Em wara isabe ron lo baret. Time lo sun wara em sabe dry. Na mi place I find him hard. Before ye tumpuna blon pla olbin istapol sem. Na ikam ol papa mama blon pla ikam ol pikinini blon pla na lo pikinini blon ol mi pla karim pikinini tu e mi pla go through lo this life na now time ol adra mi pla ol adra ikam sleep kira wante mi pla na mi pla pulimwara e mi pla hamamas na mi pla sa using this la wara
5 months time em dry lo here all crescentin sa dry na wara blon blatu sa dry jumi sa ko lo big pla wara em detin em ronta sol lo het lo entol sa pis pek all sa rausim ta sol yum sa pumapi mi kam no wat wara blue yum sa drin yum na sa wari lo skin be yum des la help do yum na sa wari but big plus something yum tinti lo put him wara gon side there blow cook washing plate clothes wash
For generations, these people have lived without easy access to water. Now, thanks to ADRA PNG and other stakeholders, the people of Korofegu have clean water right at their doorsteps.
Mi play got big plahamas lo adra because okay tata mi play no say was. Asem mi play say ko painin na was na ikam stop hamas per days 2-3 days stop and mi play say stop nothing.
Pamito big pla thank you lo ADRA PNG. All been take lead lo desla Bush Butter Association been putting proposal go lo ADRA talk yes. Pampla take lead lo desla so pampla providing finance but imasigati counterpart funding so all been asking Governor Blumpla Julius also, call District Member Blumpla Honorable Benny Allen, which to one time talk yes, Bamipla help. So all been helping Madra one time, so all been since la Wara Blumpla come inside there. Mi got big plat hamas lol nam pla talk thank you. Na when I'm blessing all Kimpla, mi plagatim serlo hat mi plagatim big plamas lol so manantapi can bless him all walk blog all tuna all can give one can service lol narpla all one talk plum inside lo Papua Niguni.
Yes, on behalf of ADRA PNG, I would like to sincerely thanks again the Office of the Governor, Julie Soso. Thank you so much for funding this project, and also open member Benny Allen. Thank you so much, sir, for funding this and making this a reality for the community. ADRA is only but an instrument to this project, but without the funds coming from these offices, it will not be possible. So thank you so much. And I would say that, I hope that this will also serve as an example to other government bodies, to top organizations that can really make a difference to the lives of the people.
That's all we have time for on this episode of Olsem Wanem. Thank you to all who have participated in this episode. If you have any comments or stories you would like to share, please contact us via the address showing on your screen or visit our Facebook page. Until next time, enjoy your viewing on your #1 station, EMTV, the lead broadcaster of the 2015 Pacific Games.